times like these, recession, inflationary times, there's opportunities in real estate. And those opportunities, when folks are feeling pinched and stressed, they can entice some of you to do things that are unscrupulous. Today, I want to give you a cautionary tale about mortgage fraud and how real it is, and how you don't want to get caught up in something like that trying to make a quick dollar.
My name is Portia, and I was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for real estate fraud. So what is real estate fraud? Because I didn't even know what it was when I got involved in these real estate deals. So in 2004 and 2005, when the market was going crazy, there were investors that were looking to buy homes and pull the cash out of them and use it to invest in other things. As you can imagine, that still happens today, right? At this time, there were billboards and advertisements saying, if you have a credit score of 700, you can buy a house. And that's really what happened. They had these loans, banks did. They were called liar's loans or ninja loans, where all you had to do is state your income, whatever you wanted. And if you had the credit score, you would buy the house. And the way that I got involved in it was I heard there were investors looking for these types of properties, these houses that had supposed equity in them. So I would find a homeowner that was willing to sell their home for $1 million and get a high appraisal on it, which right there, bells should be going off. But the homes would appraise for this. Let's say the home appraised for $2 million and I locked it up for $1 million. I would do a joint venture with the homeowner and say, you'll get $1 million at title and the rest of the money will go to the person that buys the home. And so maybe the homeowner would get $500,000. That's a lot of money for an investor to get. And then they have this home that they have a payment on, and they're marking on the loan application that they're going to move into the home. So it's owner occupied, which in most cases they didn't move into the home. And then once they got their cash, in some cases they made the payment for a year, but when the market crashed, they walked away. So who's the victim on a deal like this? Well, you could say the bank is a victim, but the truth is the government bailed the bank out and the bank was in on the whole deal anyway. Mortgage broker certainly isn't, the appraiser isn't, and I'm not. We're actually all conspirators in a giant conspiracy. But at the end of the day, I was indicted, and really the American people are the victims because the taxpayers ended up bailing out the banks. And that's what I did, and it was illegal, and it was something that I regret.
Back in 2003, 4, 5, different dynamic, but there were a lot of investors, so-called, out in the marketplace. And real estate was really being pumped up by a lot of unscrupulous acts. Straw buyers, mortgage brokers, even the banks, investors, because they created the product, appraisers and title companies, all were complicit in these fraudulent type deals. But as always, the ones that really are responsible for the fraud never get caught. It's you a lot of times. Those of you that watch my videos that get caught up because of greed. Well, as the story goes, there were several people that get caught up in these schemes, and I'm seeing the same thing today. Different circumstances to the market, but the same principles apply. Because real estate is such a valuable asset and there's a lot of money associated with it. And so today, I see a lot of people being taken advantage of with so-called wholesaling.
So we have a booming real estate market here. We know this, but there are some people suffering. Some elderly homeowners have become targets.
People are selling their houses for hundreds of thousands of dollars less than they're worth.
We out here driving for dollars.
Driving for dollars on Instagram.
It's like a boiler room atmosphere. Everybody's in here in one room making phone calls.
Dialing for dollars in this undercover video our Channel 2 Action News producer recorded at a wholesale live training in Southwest Atlanta.
Doing this all these years, man, none of us locked up.
Okay.
We good.
They're shopping for houses that aren't for sale.
The wholesaler would come to her house every single day and beg her to sell.
Robin Andrade is an Atlanta real estate broker who got a call about an elderly woman who needed help finding a condo.
She didn't have enough money for a condo, and she was almost 80 years old.
We aren't showing her face, but the Wholesale Live crew featured her on Instagram the day she sold her home.
She's been living in her home for 46 years. She's ready to move on and experience new things.
They bought her house for $95,000 and turned around and sold it the same day for $130,000. Zillow estimates it's worth more than $250,000 as is.
It's in the West End by the Beltline. It's the hottest, juiciest neighborhood right now in Atlanta.
Sarah Stein from Atlanta Legal Aid tells me they are seeing more and more seniors targeted the same way.
They're doing literally nothing to the property.
And selling it that same day.
And selling it the same day to somebody else for significantly more.
Our undercover camera caught the strategy. Don't take no for an answer.
Old man couldn't come out to the property. We went to go see the property. Danny and I pulled up at his house. You can't come out here, we'll come to you. And we showed up with the contract.
Are you taking advantage of them? No, today. Can I show you this paperwork? I went back to the same weekly Wholesaler Live training our undercover producer attended. Oh, he bought this home for $95,000, sold it for $130,000 the same day. The same day. Would you advise your grandmother or your mother to make that sale? David Blake trains police across the state to prosecute elder abuse cases.
It's almost like what we would consider financial violence.
We asked Blake when this becomes a crime.
You're hiding the facts. You're misstating the facts to make that sale, to make that transaction.
And that's against the law.
Yes. That would be considered financial exploitation.
My name is Monique Williams. It's not on the documents.
She's right. You won't see the name Monique Williams on any of the paperwork. The Cascade house was bought by an LLC, Green Sky Properties. Then Green Sky sold it to this woman. You will see Monique Mo Hustle document it all on Instagram. There at closing, there when they tear down the walls, and even there when they throw away the elderly woman's things. At closing, that elderly woman did thank the buyers.
They handled the business real neat and clean.
But now, after realizing how much more her home was really worth, she's hired an attorney.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that they took advantage of her. No doubt in my mind.
I'm not painting everybody with this brush, but there's a lot of fraud, unethical behavior in that space. And just because it hadn't been pointed out now doesn't mean that it's not going to get addressed. You don't want to be the one when the music stops not having a place to sit down. So be leery of everything that sounds good. And if you get into something, make sure you understand the full matter. An LLC is not going to protect you when they want to come and get you. All of this so-called hiding that you're doing is really just a facade, because we're in the digital age. Everything is connected. And so really one's motives much more visible than ever. And so, you know, like I said, in all thy getting, get an understanding, understand the full matter, the cons, then the pros. That's what I like to say. A lot of people like to focus on the pros. Can you handle the cons? If it all comes crashing down, are you willing and able to pay the price? So that's what I want to talk to you about on my Walking Wisdom segment. If you guys like videos like this, or if you want me to cover something specifically, something that you saw in the news as it pertains to real estate, the economy, or basic finance, let me know.